evening.
All you wonderful ladies and gents, if you're out there.
This is so exciting.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to our first book club, Bobbins and Books.
How is everybody this fine evening?
Okay. Sorry. I wanted to make sure. So now it's finally live on my phone.
Okay, you didn't bring a stand.
Okay. What do you mean?
Like, so we can
Oh.
see. I mean, I can see mine. But you're not going to. How are you going to stitch and look at
Am I really going to stitch? I mean, I will try.
Sorry, guys. We're trying to get organized here.
Okay.
How
How
we
come
don't
it's not showing?
What do you, I see. What are you
There.
trying
Oh,
to
there we
see?
Okay. We're welcome. Our tech gal, known as Emily, is not here.
Yeah.
And so we are on our own. Emily, we miss you.
Yeah.
Yes.
We love you and
We love
miss
you and we miss you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, welcome to our very first book club. For those of you who are here and don't know what we're here for, we're here to talk about our book we picked.
And sit and stitch.
Yeah.
So,
And I have all my
Or,
yeah.
We'll show the book.
And
then
this
we're
has
gonna-
all my markings. I brought my book that I marked
Yeah.
everything on.
Yeah, look at all that.
see that.
It's all like, got all these markings.
And we chatted about all the things I marked.
Yes. We probably need to introduce ourselves.
Yeah. Who are we?
I don't know. Mom?
I am Mom. I'm Nettie.
I'm
Yeah. I'm the mom to these crazy girls.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Katie, and we're Primrose Cottage.
Very good.
Yes.
So if you haven't subscribed or liked our channel, be sure to do that. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get started with
Yes,
our
that is a lot of tabs.
There might be a lot of shenanigans because we're in the evening. My prime time is in the morning, okay? Yeah. So there might be a lot of shenanigans happening, I'm not gonna lie. So we picked The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and tonight we are gonna discuss this. So I just wanna put it out there. If you haven't read the book, there's going to be spoilers. So we will be talking in depth about the book. We all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We can't wait to talk.
And if you guys have like something, you want to mention anything or say, whatever, feel free to, and we can try to, get to the question and discuss.
Before we start, I whipped up a cute little
something
stitch for you guys. We just listed it on our website, so it isn't stitched. They're gonna be stitching it as we stitch.
Look how cute.
As we sit.
as we sit and stitch.
Oh my gosh, you guys, look how cute. And I started it.
Mom started it, and it's called Love to Read, and we have love, and there's books, and a cup of tea.
Isn't that adorable?
Yeah, okay, so, and I wanted to say, I started it too.
Yep.
That's as far as I've gotten. I thought it would be really fun to do that stitch like in fall colors. I'm wearing my fall book shirt. Halloween
I was gonna wear my
colors.
book shirt, but I didn't do my laundry, you guys.
So I thought that like this like love book thing would be so cute in like whatever season you're in, I felt like.
Yes.
Or your favorite color, whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
It's charted in
DMC.
DMC as the same colors as
The Stitchers
the
Trio.
Stitchers Trio. So if you've stitched that or have that floss pack, you should already have all the floss.
This is what it looks like. I already I basically pulled this out and said this is what we're
Stitching it with.
well, she recommended some other floss.
Yes.
And I was like, this is already kitted for me. So we're doing this.
And it's been really fun. I mean, I've only been sitting here stitching for, I don't know, maybe an hour or so. Or whatever.
It's gonna be a quick stitch.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am not working on that because I can only be trusted to do fill-in when I'm sitting and stitching with you guys. I started the garden variety, the apples, and so that's what I'm stitching. So I'm gonna fill in this apple.
That's awesome.
And it'll be a challenge even to fill in, I'm sure, and talk about the book and discuss, because
Yeah.
I'm kind of gonna like moderate this question.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I might stitch. I'll put my glasses on. But I'm all about, I kind of just want to like talk about the book and read your guys' comments is what I want to do.
Oh, everyone's asking where you can find the pattern. Emily
Emily's
just
linking.
linked it.
So, and it is, I keep asking you what this is
Love
called.
to read.
Love to read.
She has asked me about 7.2 times today.
Yes. If you go on our website, at the top there's like a thing that says cross stitch. You can, the drop down menu, and then there's Primrose PDF patterns. It's going to be the very first one you see, or Emily linked it. So either way, you know.
That's PDF.
Oh, before we start though, okay, so since I'm not on FlossTube every week, I have to show you guys what, if you follow me on my Instagram, you have to if you followed my stories, I was making something and I finished it, I completed it, and I love it, and I'm so excited to share it.
Okay.
You guys are gonna die.
So
cute.
I made the witch hat that Fat Quarter Shop they did a tutorial last year, and I did it out of books. We had book fabric in one of the bundles that we had offered, and witches and potions and everything, and I absolutely love it. And my has books on the inside.
Yep.
And
You did an awesome job.
you guys, I had no idea what I was doing. I've never followed a pattern like that and did it, and I
so proud
love
of
it. Look at it. It's so cute.
I'm so proud of you.
So
We all need one.
yes.
I know. We asked her, she's gonna make us all one.
It actually was super easy. I would definitely literally, if you didn't want to do the patchwork quilty thing, it's 4 fat quarters and binding. That's all you need. And if you have interfacing or batting, you can use either one. Yeah. And it was actually really easy to follow their directions. So just so you know, it was so fun.
Everyone loves it.
I love it too, and I had to show it off because I was so proud of myself.
I'm proud of you. That's
I am
awesome.
too.
So,
Okay, so we're gonna start by giving our star review out of 5 stars, and you guys let us know your star review out of 5 stars. I actually don't review. I never leave reviews on books, but I know
I
you
do.
are
I
a
do.
reviewer.
I am
and
a
you
reviewer.
are a
Well,
reviewer.
I do the stars. I don't necessarily write up a review, but I will put a star or what I like
Okay,
in my books.
go ahead, Katie.
Go ahead, Kate.
okay, so I did a 5.
I feel like I'm a hard critic and I don't review ever, but I have to give this a 5 star. I have to give it a 5 star.
I'm also and I'm a hard critic, and I read a lot, and it is a 5 for me. And it's a book that I've read twice now, and it's a book that I will probably read again later, and stuff. So that's when I write a book and I know it's a 5 star, it's one I will always read again.
I know if I can remember a book and the characters stick with me, it's gonna get a higher rating for me.
Yeah.
So a lot of people 4, 5 stars. I love it. Somebody asked me where my daughter was. Yes, she wanted to do this. She did read the book. She gave it 5 stars. She said she's never cried so much in a book, but she couldn't make it tonight, so we do miss her. I don't know if she's joining, but hey, Hannah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should actually maybe raise your hand, your little pink hand, if you cried.
Yes.
I definitely cried. And I cried here before FlossTube
when
talking
we were-
about the book again.
She was
I got it out. Got it out of the
She's like,
system,
"I gotta
guys.
get
Got
it
it out.
Yeah, she had to
Yes.
get it
I
out.
definitely cried. I have read this. So this was my second time reading. It was all of our second time reading the book. And I definitely cried. I didn't cry as hard the second time.
Me too.
Same.
Me too.
The first time it absolutely crushed
Oh,
me.
me
Yes.
too. I
It
bawled
was-
like a baby.
It was something.
I think I cried for days.
Yes.
Okay.
It was like, what do you do with yourself?
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh my gosh.
And so when I was reading it, I finished it on Sunday morning, and I'm sitting there reading it, and my husband is off to the side watching sports, and I'm trying to not go cray-cray with the tears. Like, do you guys ever do that where it's like you're trying to hide it because you don't want people to see you're bawling over a book? Like, I mean, the floodgates opened.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been in the car listening to an audiobook, absolutely hysterically crying.
Oh my gosh.
That has happened to me.
You know how many times I've drove here to floss tube bawling
Yeah.
because of a book? Like, it's happened more than once. It's like, it's, you guys, it's, yeah.
Okay.
That's when you know you love your book.
Yes.
So when I finished it, I did have a fun discussion with Hannah, and my first question I asked her was, what sister did you relate to more, Isabel or Vienne? And to give you a reminder, Vienne was the older sister, and Isabel was the younger sister. And we saw both of their points of view throughout the book.
Mm-hmm.
Katie?
It is so hard. Like, what's the question?
Which sister did you relate more to?
Oh my gosh. I honestly, you guys, I think I related more to Vienne because it's like that motherly instinct, like, is so me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I try to be adventurous, but my adventurous only takes me so much. And I feel like Isabel definitely had that. Not that it was adventurous what she was like doing, but she was very brave.
Yes.
To like do the things that she did. There's not in a million years, even today, where I feel completely safe.
Yeah.
That I would dare go hike the mountain by myself. Okay, no way. Like, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I definitely, if I were to put myself in both of their positions, I don't know. I feel like I would relate more to Vienne and being more of a quiet resilience rather than a action, like action forward. Like Isabel, she took direct action almost right away. I feel like I would have been Vienne, especially like having children. Like, I feel like she was so focused on just keeping her child safe.
Yep.
And I feel like that's like, even, you know, my kids, if their safety is ever a concern, I'm like, you know, like it's a big thing for me. And so I feel like Vienne, I related to more.
Yeah. And I agree with everything they said, but I was just reading Jennifer here. She said that Vienne, she got stronger and tougher as time went on in the book. And I agree with everything that happened to her and what opened her eyes, what was going on and everything and stuff. And I think that's how I think we would all be in that situation, is as time went on, we'd all
I think we would all like say we wish we could be as brave as Isabel.
Yes.
And like blindly go in without any thought of consequence, because that's kind of like her personality. It was like very she had no thought for consequences.
Somebody said that she was very rebellious.
Yes.
But it was like
impulsive almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love, Karen, you said Vienne was so courageous to keep her family safe. She endured abuse and, you know, a lot of things happened to her as well. And 100%, they were both, and that's something we kind of actually touched base when we were talking about it too, is, I mean, you saw both points of view and they both were so courageous in what they each did. And
so that leads into the next question. Do you think Isabel's daring missions or Vienne's quiet resilience had the greater impact? I feel like I don't feel like you can put one is greater than the other.
I don't
both
either.
Did such marvelous, unbelievable things. Like we were talking
I think
earlier.
it goes to show you can make a difference in a different way. Like we don't all have to make the same statement. Vienne's statement was a quiet kind of like was said, she got tougher as time went on.
And she didn't have a choice. Like, I mean, she had to accept the Germans moving in her home.
Yeah.
And so she didn't have that choice.
Yeah.
And she was very brave.
Yes. But she also, the impact that she had was she saved 19 children.
Right.
Yes.
And
kept it a secret.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have Isabel who, was
saved so many,
saving so many airmen. And not only
Yeah.
that, but it's like even just like taking messages from point A to point B and
climbed those did the mountain
And
thing. Oh my gosh.
I think just being around, like, because she went, back in the book, she goes back to Paris to live with her father and opens up the bookstore again, which became a place of where communication was happening. Like, we have something for you. And it's like, she had Germans in there all the time, and she would kind of flirt and do things because it's like, you didn't want to raise suspicion.
No.
And, I mean, there's so, like, it's just so many
She was
brave
playing
acts.
a role.
Yeah.
Like, she did it well.
Well, and then like she even said in the book, she commented that they didn't expect a young, beautiful woman to be like a spy or to
Right.
to do these things.
They overlooked
They
her.
overlooked her, so she was able to do a lot of things that like the men and other people couldn't do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like, everyone is saying on the chat, like everyone kind of agrees that they both made great impacts,
Yes.
definitely with the children, the soldiers,
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, and then I like Susan too, the father, he turned out to be a big surprise,
Oh,
which
my
100% I was like, the father's love, like
The sacrifice.
the sacrifice, you guys, I feel like the tears are going to happen. Like, it's like,
Well, at first in the book, he was so mad and angry with. I felt like I was upset with him because it was like, how can you treat these girls this way and and stuff. And then it was like, he was actually helping.
Yeah, you guys, it said throughout the book, like, he had a very hard life as well, just being in the previous war, and he came home just so like a destroyed
Like
man, broken, and
Yeah.
and I think it would be very difficult to come home and be that father and that husband and to have that role, and then they lost his wife, their mother, and
And then this war breaks
it's
out.
like,
and-
wow.
yeah.
But he like ultimately like had the best sacrifice. Like, so for the first, before we kind of move on and we're talking about him, sorry, I want to just ask, like, did any of you suspect that are first time readers that he was aiding the rebellion? Did you guys have any idea that was happening? I'm curious if anyone.
Was it a big surprise?
Or
when
yeah,
you read it?
was that like a shock to you?
Yeah,
Or how
I
did
kind
that
of
go?
wanted to say that was one of the biggest shock factors that I felt in the book, was how he just made the ultimate sacrifice to save his daughter in the end. And that was definitely like so heart-wrenching, and that was like
Very
a crying
brave.
time in the book for me, because it was like, and she even said, I'm the Nightingale. I'm like, she was screaming, I'm the Nightingale. I'm the Nightingale. And no one believed her because she was a woman.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that was an
So
amazing.
yeah, a lot of you were surprised for sure. And I think the first time I read it, I was surprised too, because again, when Isabel moves back to Paris to live with him, the bookstore was closed because they came in and destroyed his bookstore. And he's like, if I can't sell it all, I'm not selling it all. And then he said he was working for the Germans, and I remember the first time I read it, I was surprised. I had no idea.
Well, I think too, it makes you think. I mean, for him to sit there and say that and let his girls believe that he was like betraying them, to let them believe that, he was like going to betray everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Another discussion that I had with Hannah, because I finished it and we just discussed, and she's really good at discussion, so I do wish she was here. But one thing that I found surprised me is that the story took place in France. And I feel like a lot of the times when we think of World War II and we think about what happened, we go directly to like Germany and Poland and places like that where a lot of the stories come from. And so having the book based in France and seeing it from a perspective of two women who were directly affected by the war, but they weren't in the normal, like they weren't in I know at the end she was in a camp, but they weren't, like that's not where the story came from. It was about everyday people, like women, and how they were so directly affected. That just shocked me because I kind of like forgot that they overtook France. Like that was a big, like, even though I read it before, when I read it again, I was like, oh my heck, that's right. Yeah.
And even though they overtook it, they did, they had the rules and they had their rations and they starved, they froze, and they couldn't walk the streets without under suspicion and everything. They were treated like enemies and stuff. So that was really hard.
And to go along with what you're saying, what really like was just wow to me is, again, the story of Vienne, who is like any one of us, and her best friend Rachel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, like this makes me want to choke up too, because it's like, it broke my heart that they were like these really good friends. And
because we all have those good friends, we all have those people that are,
and it's like I just can't imagine what they like had to go through. And wow, it was unbelievable, like to think of like the friendships that I have with my friends, and to think like, wow, I can't believe, like, because when I read a book, I feel like I'm that character. Like I read like I was like Vienne the whole time. Like that's how I feel when I read a book. And putting myself in those shoes, I was just like, they would go and have coffee under the tree and in their backyard, and they were best friends. And just to see the trials that they had to endure and do and keep each other. I think it described her as kind of a bigger woman and stronger. And she's like, I'm going to need help being kept up on, and getting through this, because they had just sent their husbands to war. And
and I think the turning point for Vienne to have more of an aggressive role in what she was doing as a rebellion was when her friend was taken away and her daughter died. Like, I feel like that was Vienne's turning point of, okay, I can do something. And the first thing she did was she took Ari, her son, and she protected him and everything. And that was the start. Like, it was such a drastic thing that had to happen to her to finally be like, what am I willing to risk? Mm-hmm. And she risked it all, ultimately,
to protect
the children.
Well, and I thought was so awesome too is her daughter. She was still really young, and so young but so grown up to understand how they had to protect this little boy and had to, be secretive and everything was what was amazing. But I thought what was sad too is I felt like that, when they had her make the list, I felt like that they deceived her. Like, not, I don't know if you'd word the word naive, but I felt like she was deceived. She was just thought she was just making a list.
Yeah.
And that no harm done. Mm-hmm. And then when it came down to it, is the list was...
Well, and imagine the guilt.
Oh.
The guilt that she held.
Yeah.
Because of making that list. Yeah. And ultimately, they would have found the names anyway. if she had given the list or not, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But what I thought was interesting is I think from the very beginning, we see the difference in their characters, how Isabel, she immediately took action. And we were just having this discussion because when it started, when German occupied France and she was traveling to Vienne's house, she was in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like she experienced the destruction, the grief, she experienced part of the war, and Vienne hadn't experienced that at all at that point. And so like the way they went about dealing with it was very different from the beginning, but they also had very different experiences like from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree that her daughter lost her childhood, and I think a lot of children in
for
them
sure.
days lost their childhood. I mean,
It didn't matter what side or where you lived.
They lost their childhood.
100%.
And yeah.
So now I feel like we should definitely talk about some of the characters maybe we didn't like as much in this book.
I agree. The one that we don't want to like but kind of liked, I feel like it was a hard moral line.
Yes.
Was Captain Beck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the German that was billeted with her at first. And I feel like when I had this conversation with Hannah made an amazing point. She said, Mom, it humanized some of the German soldiers who may still have had a moral compass in what they were like. They didn't agree with it, but were forced.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's talk about him. How did you feel about him?
Well, you know, at first I was like, what is this man going to do to this family? Yeah. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But, you know, you guys could see throughout, like, him, like, warning about Rachel. You need to get Rachel and her children out. You need to do something. Like, when Vianne had lost her teaching job and then she was, like, starving herself because she had to feed her children, he brought home food. He brought home fish one day, and that's a whole other topic we could talk about too, about how Vianne felt taking these things too, because it felt like you're betraying your country or whatever. And but I think Beck was really ultimately, there was a moment in the book he talked about his wife, his children, and
all he wanted to do was get back to his wife and child.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also, like, he would have been a totally different person if it wasn't for the war. You know, you could tell he wasn't. And the only reason why, when we talked about this earlier, is what happened to him. Because he was feeling the pressure.
Yes,
from his higher command people of finding this pilot.
Well, and when they're in the streets and she saw him, because I believe this is when Rachel ended up having to, like, I think it's when she got there and got huddled into this, and Vianne saw him with a whip, and she was like, what? And he comes home to talk to Vianne, and he's like, I didn't, like, he did not want to be doing that. Like, he, like, said that in so many words, I think, if I remember right.
I think Cheryl said it best, because that's kind of what I said when we were having this conversation. It ended up being self-preservation at the end. Ultimately, they were coming down on him. They couldn't find, coincidentally, the airman who her sister saved.
Yeah.
So it's wild how the demise of him, incidentally, was by Isabel.
Which she could not stand Beck at first.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy because that's what happened. Like, Isabel bringing this airman into their, that hole. I don't know what that's called.
The trap door.
The trap door under the car.
Yeah. Also, I mean, we didn't really talk about this, but it was interesting because they were starting to have feelings for one another.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And I bet that would have been, I can't even imagine. I don't even know what to think or imagine, because.
But they were two lonely people.
Yeah.
I mean, and war.
They were living there like a family. Like, I mean, as much as they could be, obviously, but it was just weird.
And he helped supply food and stuff and everything, but, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I could talk about the second guy.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was pure
evil.
So
evil.
Yeah. I think that really encompassed the true evilness of what the war created in some of these men who fought for Germany. And it was really disheartening. Like Katie brought up the point when he made her cook the meal for the people he had over, and there was all these leftovers, and he fed them to the chickens. Like, he treated the people less than dirt, basically. And it was so sad and frustrating to see. Like, it made you wonder how Vienne felt, how good she had it with the first German Beck. Like, she truly was, I think, one of the lucky ones at first. And then to have this happen and to, like, be put into a completely opposite situation where he had no moral compass, he had so much hatred, it was so hard to read.
Unfortunately, there's just people or monsters out there that they thrive on that power. Are able to have that power over an individual, be it a man or a woman.
So another person I wanted to talk about is Gaetan. I don't know, am I saying that right? Gaetan. Isabel's love interest. So they first met, he had escaped from prison, and she is, she had gotten a ride. Her father had prepared the ride for her to make the trek to her sister's house. This is in the very beginning of the book. And they run out of gas, and there's like hundreds of thousands of people walking,
trying to get
from, get out of Paris. And she meets Gaetan, and I feel like, they helped each other, obviously, and they, like, fell in love and had a real love story in a way. The best kind of love story that they could have, given their circumstances. And I loved at the end when it all comes together and he named, well, first of all, I loved that he reunited with Isabel, and she took her last breath with him, and which makes me emotional thinking about that too. And then, like, he named his daughter Isabel. You guys, like, I cry over books. This is ridiculous.
It's fine.
Okay. And he, like, named his daughter Isabel. I just thought that was, like, so precious, like, because she was such a hero. And all of them were, like, it was just, like, amazing what they did, and that they could continue to do what they did day in and day out for years.
Yeah, we're not talking like, oh, this was a few months. Like, this was years of their life. And I just really value Isabel's courage, because she literally, like, she had no reservations about the rebellion. Like, she knew the consequences. But she was so just... it was in her. She needed to do what others could not, like, do. And she just showed such an example of bravery, and, like, crossing those mountains 20 plus times. Like, I don't know if you guys were aware, but this was based on a true person, a real person. And I think you said... she writes about that on the back.
So the
Isabel's resistance work is based on the real heroine Andre de Jong. I don't know I'm probably
killing it,
saying that really wrong.
Oh yeah, I highlighted it right here.
Okay.
If you
I came across the story of young Andre de Jong, who, along with her father, started one of the first escape routes for downed airmen out of Nazi-occupied France. I was stunned. A teenager saving airmen, risking her life, walking over the Pyrenees Mountains in worn espadrilles. I don't know how to say that. How could I not know such a story? So the fact that a teenager was taking and saving these airmen's lives is something that I just find shocking, because, like, to have that kind of courage and being a teenage girl in a war, I just think that's awesome.
Well, and and also it's like, even though there's so much heartache and so much tragedy, and it tells us the story of what war is and everything, but in the end there was happiness,
Yeah.
there was absolute happiness, and which is
Yeah.
good.
Which actually, you wanted to ask the question about when they're in modern day times and you're hearing an old woman's perspective.
Oh yeah.
Who did you think
Who
it
did
was?
you think it was?
Who do you
Which
think
sister?
was narrating the story as far as like when it was in the current times, which was in it was like 1995.
Yeah.
Like, who do you feel like?
Was it Vienne or Isabel?
Did
Because
you-
knew it was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have an inkling?
Well, because
who
at
was
one
telling
point,
the
one
story?
point she said, "I don't know if I can live with myself because I killed a man." Well, they
So-
both killed him, kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because Vienne hit him Beck over the head with the shovel, and then Isabel was in the cellar and
shot
killed him
him
with the gun.
Yeah, and so that's what threw me off at first. I
Or
was like,
shot him. So
Yeah.
whoever killed him first, or however that happened, I don't know.
I do remember when I read the story the first time, I did think it was Isabel. I kept thinking it had to be Isabel. And
me too.
I think what was so, like, when I cried the most is after all that she endured of going to the camp and enduring the camp. Like, she got out of the camp, but ultimately the camp, what happened at the camp took her life. And I was so angry by that. Like, I legitimately, like, was so angry that she had to die, even though, like, she gave so much of herself. I think that part is what, like, shocked me the most when I read it the first time, was how the author could let her die. I don't know if she did in real life, like, so soon after, but I was absolutely heartbroken because, you know, she's reunited with Gaetan, and then she takes her last breath with him. But that, like, broke my heart ultimately. That she survived the camp just to die. Like, that just...
I know.
That wrecked
it really,
me.
It
That-
made
that
me
wrecked me.
extremely angry as well.
And it makes you wonder how many people did get out of the camps that ultimately died soon after because of all their ailments. Like, how many... And
the starvation
yeah.
and because in the disease.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't clean, and they were starving them.
So a lot of people are saying that they thought it was Isabel as well. So, you know, I'm so happy that Antoine made it back home.
Mm-hmm.
This is Vienne's husband. I was glad to see that they could reunite. And then, I don't know if you want to talk more about that, we can, but then I just am touching on things that I also loved about the end of the book is, well, okay, so, you know, when I forgot what they called them, but the two men came to pick up Ari, that broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I understood everything that they were saying, that they needed to rebuild their people again. Made 100%, I was like, yeah.
But we're still heartbroken.
I was so heartbroken for Vienne and
Yeah.
Sophie. I just, I was like, oh my gosh. And then the end when she goes and does her speech and goes to France with her son, and Ari is like, I remembered you, and Sophie, I never forgot you. And I loved that. That just like, I loved that part of the story.
Something that stood out to me as well in this story, and it's because I'm such a tree lover.
Oh, yeah.
So every time, like, so when Antoine left, she tied a piece of fabric on this tree. And every time somebody left or something happened that was just awful, she would tie a piece of fabric to remember them by. And ultimately the tree withered and, like, died. And, like, the rest of her garden, you know, it didn't do that. It was just this one tree. And I was like, it just symbolized the grief and the death and the devastation, and it was like she put that energy into just, I don't know, it just, it took it all, and it was so symbolic to me. I just loved that part.
Which I just like Kristen Hanna. I've read a few of her books, and when I'm reading this again, I actually, one of the first messages I sent to them, I was like, the details. Like, she is so amazing at the details. I felt like I was right there in the bookstore. I feel like I was right there on the walk with Isabel. I felt like I was right there helping Rachel and for her kids to cross the border. I feel like I was there when she hit Beck over the head with the shovel. Like, her details, like, it just, the story came alive in my mind. And it just seemed like I just saw the whole thing. She did such an amazing job. Yeah. It's amazing. Do we have more questions? Or I'd love to hear if there's something someone else wants to like say anything to. Happy to.
Let's see. I think we kind of talked about this, but like, how did your feelings change as the story progressed with each sister? I know for me, like at first with Isabel, I had a hard time with her because I don't know, like she seemed very impulsive and very like, I'm gonna do what I want, even if it might harm. Like when she first was living with Vienne, she was impulsive and she had a snarky mouth, and she just, I think she was pushing it as far as she could go. And that like bothered me. I'm like, can't you see that
she's just trying to be safe?
She's just trying to protect her child. But the more that the story progressed, I came to really admire just her courage, like we kind of talked about before. So I did have a change in heart about her from where we started to the end, for sure.
I feel very similar to that as well, because it was hard. I was just like, girl, like, you're making these decisions that are just like, and I think that's why I related to Vienne so much, because it was like this motherly instinct of, I've got to raise my family, I've got to, raise my kids and do what I've got to do and put food on the table kind of, type of thing. Yeah. There was something else.
Mary said, at first I thought Isabel's impulsiveness was a tragic flaw, but it ended up being the thing that allowed her to save so many people. And I love how you put that.
Yep.
Oh, I know what, I don't know, when we were talking earlier about her and when she would take these pilots across these great big mountains and everything, and how it was interesting how some of them couldn't cooperate because
she was a woman.
They couldn't take orders or suggestions or whatever to get across these mountains and everything. And that's
I think one of the questions that I did have on here is about why do you think women's roles were often overlooked during the war? And just, I think it's because, when you think of war, you're thinking about soldiers fighting on the front lines, but some of the most just amazing, courageous stories are people that are in the background that you don't realize, like the couriers, people risking their lives to send messages. And people like Isabel, who directly endangered their own life to save, soldiers that weren't even from her country.
Well,
they were from all of the countries.
I was even thinking about the nun that she was taking the children to. Yes. I mean, that right there,
the sacrifices that the nuns and the priests did to help these little orphans and people to escape was amazing.
Cynthia brings up a good point. I actually thought this same thing. I thought it was a fabulous book. I only wish we would have heard how France recovered as well, or how Vienne decided to come to America.
Yeah.
I had that thought as well. I wanted to know, why did she choose to move to America? And
Me too.
obviously she was still married to Antoine. They had their son. And I just found one of the questions that I thought about asking is like, did you feel the book was like, did you have more questions at the end? Did you feel complete? And I feel like I did for the most part, but I did want to know that. I'm like, I wonder why she chose to move to America. Yes. Yes, Donna says, it just goes to show in all things, everyone can do something to help no matter how small. And I think that Kristen Hanna really portrays how these two women were so different, yet they helped in an amazing way by doing different things. And just like Katie just mentioned, the nun too. And can you imagine how many families did do just small, simple things that we don't even know about? Like they had to do so many things and so many risk their lives and to save other people.
Well, and also it's when we were talking earlier, I told the girls, I says, I don't even think we truly understand how fortunate and blessed we are in our world, that how many of us would be happy with just a boiled potato all day. Or, you know, I mean, the sacrifices that they made, I mean, they were starving. They didn't have anything. And I mean, down to their clothes, their shoes, I mean, everything. And had to wear things for years upon years. And
I liked how Kristen Hanna like really described her clothing and how it became more and more ragged and more used as time went on, and how she repurposed things to make her kids clothing. And it's like they had to like salvage everything they could, and I really enjoyed seeing that play out, you know, because you don't even think about that. You're like, oh, no. You couldn't just go buy a new pair of shoes.
No.
You couldn't just go buy a shirt. They could barely buy.
I mean, they had their rations.
They had rations. Yeah, they didn't buy anything.
No.
And I wonder what she would have done differently had she known, like, as far as, you know, Antoine had put all that money in the bed, like, how she would have changed how she spent her resources, knowing what she knew. And what I found absolutely devastating is when the initial thing happened, when all those people raided her garden. Was anyone else so distraught about that?
I was like, what are they going to do for food?
I was so distraught how they went in and just
trampled
took everything out of her garden. And I was
But they were starving. Like, I mean, it didn't really say how she reacted. It kind of said what the aftermath was. But oh my gosh. And I was surprised when that was happening. I thought for sure, because, you know, her house was like literally shaking, it said. And people were like, you know, knocking on the door or pounding on the door. And I was so worried that someone was going to break in. That's a thought that happened to me while reading that. And it was, I was definitely scared and fearful of that point in the book.
Darla does mention, and I loved this, we talked about this earlier, is how she made the list so the children could be found after the war. That she made a meticulous list of their names, what they were changed to, and any information she could get.
And kind of with that, like, if you, in the story, it had mentioned how, like, literally, like, she was hiding him in, like, a jar of rusty nails, or, like, they had to find very creative ways to hide things and to, have a history.
Well, like, what was it? You said that when they said they had to turn in their radios and everything, and Isabel,
she went and, like, I don't know if it was, before they had said you have to turn your radios in, or if this was after when she had decided when they went to, like, when Sophie and Vienne went off the next day to teach and go to school or whatever.
Yeah.
She hid all the valuables and all the sentimentals, and, you know, provisions. So if they had to, and it's like she was thinking.
Well, and
She knew.
you know, as the book went on, and it would talk about how the furniture would get cut up to be used for firewood and heat source, like, it blew my mind, because it's like, I can't even fathom how bad that was. And the fact that this was only 80 years ago, like, blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's just heart-wrenching, and it just makes me feel so grateful to have, you know, shelter, food, clothing. I mean, all of those things. It's gratitude goes a long ways, and I don't know, it just was so shocking. It's always so shocking to read about the events that happened in World War II, even though, you know, we're told and we know the history, but in this type of format where it humanizes everything, it's not just facts, it gives you emotion tied to it, because these stories are just so raw. Yeah,
Definitely.
Let's see. I wanted to look up, I thought it was interesting what a nightingale represented, the symbology behind nightingale. And the nightingale, this is what came up when I looked it up. The nightingale song is often described as pure, haunting, and filled with emotion. It can symbolize the soul expressing itself, longing, devotion, or love. Poets and mystics like Rumi have linked the nightingale song to the cry of the human heart seeking union with God. So there's a lot of spiritual connection with the bird, the nightingale, and what that symbolizes with the story and their last name. That's what it meant, was the nightingale, right? They called it the Nightingale because her last name didn't mean nightingale in French. Am I completely wrong?
I don't know. Sorry, I was reading the comments. I was letting you just carry that.
Somebody might have to correct me, but I think that's where it came from. Yes, let's see. Many of our younger generation don't have these skills.
Someone did say yes.
Okay, yes. Thank you for confirming that with me. Yes, that's what their last name meant. So, I don't know. Kristen Hanna just really... She just sprinkled in goodness everywhere.
And so, I know there's been people, they're like, this is such a sad book. Don't do a sad book next time. And I 100% agree.
Yes.
Like, 100%.
I told them, I says, we need some happiness and frills.
Yeah, I agree. I do think, though, like, books like this make great discussions.
Yes.
And also,
makes you feel...
It's a fantastic book. It's just an amazing book, and I'm so happy that we could read it and discuss it, that's for sure.
I liked the sister bonding. I loved that it was two sisters and their different perspectives and how different they were and how they went about going through their hardships in different ways.
Well, and they would get angry with each other, they'd be angry with each other because they couldn't understand one perspective than the other. But when it came down to it, they would give each other their lives. I mean, they loved each other so much.
Yeah.
Any last words you want to say about the book?
I loved the book and it made me tear up. I loved it just as much as I read it the first time. I've said it all.
Yeah.
I really loved it. And it's a book that will stay with me forever for sure.
Yeah, I really enjoyed reading it the second time just as much as the first time. It was, for me, I just loved the reminder to just love on our families and just have gratitude in what we have every day. I mean, like I said, this was only 80 years ago, and that just is wild to me. And it just made me grateful for the life that I do have today, because, I mean, all these things happened, and we are where we are today, and have different freedoms because people like Isabel and Vienne say, like, the people they saved, that could have been, you know, they saved one person, but that could save a generation of families. Like, it's so wild to me, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I really did think about. I mean, they saved, you know, she saved over 20, I don't remember, she did over 20 trips, but it didn't really say how many people in each mission she took over. But can you imagine how many families, like, she saved, because she saved one person in a family that could have generations of families.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that was wild to me, like the ripple effect.
Yeah.
So anyway, I loved it. I would definitely read it again or listen to it again.
I will. I know that, like I say, it's in my library, and I know there is us that we actually will read a physical book, and then there's the ones that we love to listen. And it is also a very good listen. The narrator on Audible on this book, you can get it in your library thing, or you can buy it on Audible. It is very well narrated. And
I agree.
and so if you don't feel like you have time to sit down and actually read the book physically, but you can listen to a book, it's very well worth it. Very well worth it.
And I think too, I couldn't pronounce half of the things,
Yeah.
so it was fantastic. I listened and I followed along with a physical copy and made notes. So
I just wanted to hit, and I probably mentioned this before, is I've had such a blessing in my life that a few years ago, me and the girl's dad, we got to go to Europe, and we did go to Paris. We visited Germany and some places in Germany and that, but also we spent a week in Paris, and that I think is my all-time favorite place. It's the place that I feel like I would love to go back one day. It is the most beautiful place. And what really is so interesting in reading this book and everything, because there was a couple of places in the book that I was like, I remember, like when they'd walk and get their food and different things, because you walk the streets and they have these like the fruit and vegetable stands everywhere, you know, and all their food and everything, but also the destruction that happened in those, like we went to Berlin and stuff, and the destruction that this war did, and how when you go now and how beautiful it is, and how some of these old buildings still stand and are just unbelievable, and the history that's there is just amazing.
I loved at the end. Sorry, I gotta say this because you're saying it now like as a modern time, but Vienne, when her and her son go back, and she's like, no, we're going to walk, and he's like, in hills? She's like, yes, I'm a French woman, or something like that. And I love that. I was like, you go, girl.
And they do. I mean, it's like
They walk everywhere.
They walk
Yes,
everywhere.
and
the one thing that amazed us the most, if they're not walking, they're bicycling. I mean, they have miles upon miles of bikes that you parked your bike and, you know, and stuff. And if it wasn't that, we were riding the trains. And that's what was the most amazing thing, is if anybody ever has the chance to go visit Europe like that, I encourage you to take the trains, because that was the most amazing thing, is to see the back countries of Europe and stuff. Is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I didn't get any stitching done.
I didn't either.
So
I'll be stitching this though tomorrow.
I hope you guys did while you listened to us
Yeah.
chat, but
Yeah.
I couldn't look and read the comments, look at my notes
Yeah.
and everything at the same time, but I really enjoyed discussing the book. We would love to hear your suggestions on our next book club pick. If you want to leave a comment after the video's done so we can go back and see those suggestions, we would love to get some ideas.
Yeah.
And
we don't have a date.
we don't have a date.
We're just flying by the seat of our pants,
we
you
want
guys.
to keep this fun and why don't we say, do you want to say what you're currently reading?
Sure.
What are you currently reading?
I am actually currently reading, it's a book called Forbidden Alchemy.
Ooh,
It's a
I've
rom-
actually heard of that.
So it's just from what my friend told me. Well, I have a book club next Tuesday I'm going to, and that's our book. So I'm reading that, and it's got like a magic system, but like a Peaky Blinders. That's how people are kind of describing it. And I started it this morning and listened to it on my drive, and I am really enjoying it so far. So
I am reading, it's The Realm of the Elderlings. It is a very high fantasy book the author is Robin Hobb, and it is a huge epic fantasy series that is like, apparently there's like 16 books.
Oh, wow.
And these are like, think Game of Thrones as far as like just the depth of the book.
10,000 characters.
I don't know.
10,000 characters. It's just crazy. You wouldn't like it. I already know this. Because there is no romance in this book. It is just adventure and
And if you
fantasy.
follow me, I like all the smut. I'm just going to tell you right now. If you follow my book page, I'm here for it. Give me the morally gray characters. It's okay. It's fictional.
She likes the pepper.
But I will say, I did just do a reread. I don't know if you guys are into sci-fi, but Project Hail Mary and The Martian by Andy Weir. Excellent books, you guys, and you have to listen to the narration. It makes it, like, reading it is not the same.
That's what I heard for the Project Hail Mary.
You have to do the narration, or I don't know. I absolutely love those. They were re-listens for me.
They're coming out with a movie for Project Hail Mary.
Oh, are they?
So I think that's why, maybe you've seen it, because it's like, it's overtaking the book
Well, I was
world
like,
again.
why is this on the top list to listen to?
Because there's a movie coming out, and it has a wonderful actor in it. Who is it? Gosling.
I don't even know.
The
I've
Notebook.
not seen this.
You know the Notebook guy?
Okay,
the
yes.
Gosling. What's his
Ryan
name?
Gosling?
Yeah, he's in it.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then also just hopefully it really comes to fruition. I think it is, but this Nightingale is. They announced
they're doing a movie of the
So,
Nightingale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Anyway,
Mom,
yeah.
what are you reading?
Well, I actually just finished a book that I took Hannah to lunch Saturday, and she recommended a series because me and her, we kind of sometimes have the same morbid mind.
I can't read some of Hannah's books.
But it's a series about different like serial killers. But the first one is a stalking Jack the Ripper.
Oh, that's like one of her all-time favorite
Oh my gosh, it was
books.
very good. And there's like, I think there's 4 books. There's like, the first one is Stalking Jack the Ripper. The second one is Something Dracula. But what brought it up is I had just watched a documentary about the very first serial killer that was in the United States, and he is from Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, interesting.
And I was telling Hannah about it, and she told me word for word about this serial killer.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
one of the books is on this guy. And so,
Interesting, okay.
anyway, but yeah, I think there's like 4 books.
So you guys are putting, I don't know if these are books that you guys are putting what you're reading, but be sure if you want us to pick from something that you're mentioning, put it in the comments after the video.
live. I do want to say, Carol says A Gentleman in Moscow. That is one of my favorite books. Oh man, I loved that book. It is great. Great fiction. And I don't know why. So Katie is going to make fun of me because I like really boring books as far as like, it's like.
I mean, I like boring books
No.
too.
No, but like.
So are you saying that's boring?
But it's like, it's not like this high, like, there's really exciting things and really things. It's like the story of a person. And I don't know, A Gentleman in Moscow, I've read that one a couple times.
I like,
Oh,
surprisingly,
okay,
I've read books like that and I do enjoy them.
Okay.
It depends on the story. And I am a very much a mood reader.
Yes.
It's right now, like, there's like certain genres I'm loving right now. And so I'm reading those right now and they're going to tend to get the higher ratings. Versus if I read something like that right now when I'm not in the mood for it, it's probably going to get a lower rating on the book because I wasn't in the mood. So I try not to, if I'm not feeling it, I want to give the book justice.
You don't want to force it.
I don't want to force it, and I want to give the book justice.
Yeah.
I did want to mention too, like with ideas and suggestions, I will say, like, the next book, like, I don't want to do a historical fiction.
No, we'll do a different genre.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. I'm open and I'm all ears, but I'm not going to put that when we pick it because I have a fun way to pick the book when you guys put stuff in there that we'll do next time. But so definitely keep, have some fun ideas in there for sure.
All right.
Okay.
I think, that was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks for joining us, ladies.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Let us know what you want to do for book club next time in the comment after we hit the live. So we can go and look, and we hope you guys have a great evening and happy reading and
we'll
stitching.
see you Thursday.
Yes, we will see you Thursday. Adios.
Okay,
I guess I
bye.
have to.
Yep.
Our tech girl's not here.
Yep.